Hey everyone, welcome back to Lori's Kitchen. So today we're going to be making another recipe in the Instant Pot with the Instant Pot air fryer lid together. So as you may have seen, I did an unboxing of the air fryer lid with a recipe of baked macaroni and cheese. If you'd like to see that recipe, it's going to be in the card up above. You can click on the link there and see it. So I've been trying to find some recipes where before, when I used my Instant Pot, I'd have to go to the oven to make something crispy. So today we're doing carnitas. I love carnitas in the Instant Pot, but I don't like that they're not crispy, so I used to always put it in the oven. So today we're going to make it in the Instant Pot, use the Instant Pot air fryer lid to crisp it up, and let me show you what it looks like.
Tender pork with crispy bits.
So come along with me and let's make carnitas in the Instant Pot with the Instant Pot air fryer lid.
Let's take a look at the ingredients needed to make this recipe. You need a 4 to 6 pound pork shoulder butt roast, some kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of oregano leaves, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of chili powder, a tablespoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of ground coriander, about a cup to a cup and a half of water, a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. Let's begin preparing the roast. So first we're going to cut it into large chunks. My roast was over 6.5 pounds. And it does have a small bone in it, so I'm cutting it into big sections. So each chunk is going to be about a 3 by 3 inch chunk of meat. This is going to allow for even cooking and also to allow more seasoning to be coated over each piece of the meat. Once I've cut all the meat, we're going to go on to the seasoning. With my meat in a large mixing bowl, I added my 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, my tablespoon of cumin, put in my coriander, my chili pepper, my smoked paprika, my 2 tablespoons of oregano leaves, and 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. I'm using some gloves so I can use my hands to mix the seasoning into the pork. Just keep mixing it around for a minute just to make sure everything's evenly coated. First, I'm going to plug in my Instant Pot. Once I turn it on, I'm going to hit saute and it defaults to 30 minutes and while it's warming up. Once it hits hot, I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. This is going to help the meat from sticking to the bottom of the pan and giving it a nice sear. So I'm going to have to do this in batches because I had so much of the pork roast. So I'm doing just a few pieces at a time. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. I'm cooking the pieces about 3 to 4 minutes on each side just to give it a nice sear. Once I'm done with one batch, I remove it and put it into a clean dish. And then I'm going to repeat with the next batch of pork chunks. You'll see as I'm cooking the pork over time, the bits on the bottom of the pan are going to get a little darker and darker. Don't worry, we'll be deglazing that later. So now I'm putting in my second batch of meat chunks. Again, not overcrowding it, letting them sear for a few minutes on each side. Now turning it over. Once it's all done, remove them from the pan and we'll get ready for the next step. In order to avoid a burn error, you're going to want to deglaze the pan. So what you take is about a half a cup of water, and I used a wooden spatula, and you scrape the bottom until all the bits at the bottom are released. With the heat and the water, they'll come up pretty easily, but make sure you scrape them all. If you don't scrape them all, there is a chance you might get a burn error. And don't worry about the bits being within the liquid. It's just going to be sitting at the bottom of the Instant Pot when we move on to the next step. Once you're sure all the bits are scraped off the bottom, it's time to move on to get the meat in the pan. First thing we're going to do is put in the rest of our cup and a half of water. You need minimum a cup and a half is fine. We're going to then put in our trivet and start stacking our pieces of seared pork roast on top of the trivet. And in my case, I have quite a bit of pork, so I'll be stacking it up in a pyramid style. Now it's time to put on the Instant Pot lid, lock it into place, and ensure the vent is set to sealing. Now we're going to hit cancel, hit pressure cook, and it's on high pressure, and we're going to cook it for 35 minutes. Once the 35-minute cooking time has completed, you'll see L000. Then we're going to let it go up to L010, which means natural pressure release, for 10 minutes. Once that's done, we're ready to start doing a quick release on the vent. We're going to push the valve down to venting. And you can see I did not use any pot holder, but if you feel more comfortable using a pot holder, please do so. There is a little water that spits out, but it did not burn my hands. It took about 2 minutes to release all the pressure in my Instant Pot in order for the pin to drop down. When the pin drops down, you know it's safe to open the handle. Open the handle, lift it up, and tip it away so the steam doesn't burn your face. And look at our cooked pork. Looks delicious. In order to remove the meat from the Instant Pot, I did remove 2 of the larger chunks with a spoon first of the pork. Now I'm using my trivet, and I can pick up 90% of the meat out of the Instant Pot just lifting up the trivet. It's a time saver to do that. Then I'll use my spoon, and I'm just going to scoop out the remaining pieces that fell back into the broth. This is what your cooked pork looks like. Now I'm going to hit cancel on my Instant Pot because I'm going to be dumping the juices into another bowl and washing out my Instant Pot liner because I'm going to use it again to use my air fryer to crisp up my carnitas. However, if you don't have an air fryer, this will be your last step right here. You take the chunks of pork, I'm using 2 forks, and just gently tearing them apart to make little pieces of shredded pork. Now that I've shredded all my pork, I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper to taste. If you don't have an air fryer lid for your Instant Pot, you can put this on a baking sheet with a foil lined pan and put it in for 400 degrees for about 10 minutes, tossing it lightly until it's crispy as you like it. Since I have the air fryer lid for the Instant Pot Duo, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get my air fryer ready. I decided just to put a spray of oil in the bottom of my pan just in case it's going to stick. I'm not sure if it was going to or not, but I went ahead and just put a little light spray just in case. So now we're going to slowly put in pieces of our pork in the bottom. The Instant Pot is off. Remember, we finished cooking in the Instant Pot. So right now I'm just putting it into the cleaned liner, putting in enough just to cover the bottom. So I'm getting ready to plug in my air fryer lid, and remember, you cannot plug in your Instant Pot base at the same time. There's a safety feature built into that plug. Now I'm putting on my air fryer lid, and it just sits on top, and when it's on, you can see the display just says off. I'm pressing the air fry button and setting the time for 10 minutes. Then press the start button. Don't forget to have your Instant Pot protective pad close by when you're using the air fryer lid. And with the air fryer lid, you can just open it up, take a peek, and just set it back down, and it'll continue cooking as soon as you put it back. About halfway through the cooking process, it's going to let you know to turn your food. And this is a reminder so you don't burn what's inside. So we're at the 5-minute mark, and right after it finishes the 5th minute, because I set it for 10, it's going to go ahead and let me know to turn my food. There we go. So I'm going to remove my air fryer lid, put it on the protective pad, and see how my carnitas are doing. See if they're crispy enough for me. I can definitely see that they're dried up a little bit and a little bit crunchy. So I give it a little taste, see if it needs any additional seasonings, and I think it needs just a little bit more salt. Give it a toss around, and now it's time to remove it from our Instant Pot liner. You'll see as I pull this out of the liner that the bottom's very clean, and I don't think it's because I used the oil. It looks like this type of meat because it was moist and there was really nothing in it to make it stick. It came out nice and clean. So now, look at that. Those carnitas are just the way we like them. Now it's time to put in the second batch of carnitas to let it get nice and crispy. Remember, I had 6.5, almost 7 pounds of meat, and so I'm going to be breaking this into 3 parts. I don't want to overstuff it where it's going to take longer to crisp up, but as you can see, 3 to 4 minutes, it starts getting crispy. Use my tongs again, move it around, see if it needs some more time, and put it back in. And just repeat until all your batches are complete. And look how beautiful these carnitas look. Crispy, juicy, just perfect. And there you have it, the best Instant Pot pork carnitas recipe. If you enjoyed this recipe, please give my video a thumbs up and comment down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to be informed when my next weekly video is available. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.